3 minutes, everyone!
Sir, for no reason at all, I'm suddenly interested in the evolution of film technology. Can you give me a rundown of the 1920s?
Well, we have some extra time, so sure, film crew. You guys know a lot about it. Inform John.
Well, although silent movies have passed, they were huge in the early mid-20s. The acting was performed with no vocal dialogue and accompanied by a piano or organ. Sometimes, text boxes would appear covering the screen. In 1923, the first film was made with an organized soundtrack. It was taken and engraved onto a movie strip photographically. Silent movies were mainly black and white, although sometimes a tint was used to set the mood.
In 1927, the first movie with vocal dialogue was made. It was called The Jazz Singer. Instead of recording scenes with sound, they lip-synced the dialogue and singing. Wow. That is why in movies it looks like the actors' lips aren't matching the dialogue. The Jazz Singer also introduced a movie genre called the talkies, which are movies with a synchronized soundtrack.
Hollywood was booming in the 20s.
Wow.
By 1927, 85% of films were being produced there. In 1918, the first full movie was shot in color called Cupid Angling. With Hollywood came full-length films. The first one, called Birth of a Nation, is extremely controversial today. The film profited $10 million, which led to more full-feature films.
The first cartoon show with a synchronized soundtrack with music, speech, and sound effects was Steamboat Willie.
I love Steamboat Willie!
Max Fleischer, a Polish animator, and Disney's so-called rival, invented the rotoscope, which allowed animators to make realistic animation.
Wow!
The median movie production in the 1920s was 800 a year. That record has never been broken.
But what does this have to do with live television?
In 1923, Vladimir Zworykin invented the iconoscope, which instead of using mechanics and electronics, it was all electronic. He came up with putting a light on a plate that divided the light into little square boxes, which we call pixels. After that, an electron beam covered the plate, charging the pixels. After that, the image was made into an electric signal that could be displayed on a camera.
Wow.
This model was easy to manufacture, made a clear image, so he tried to get it patented in 1923. It is still yet to be accepted. Philo Farnsworth was also inventing an electron tube called the image dissector, which he received a patent for in 1927. The issue with Farnsworth's invention is that it gets too hot, and people cannot stand close to the camera. So when it comes to live television, Zworykin's invention is used.
Huh. Wow. Now I know what all this stuff is for. I feel smarter already.
And you should. And when would you look at that? We finished just in time. Going live for the testing in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to WRGB, broadcasting live from General Electric in Schenectady, New York, New York. Into the news. For those who haven't heard, the bull market began March 3rd, 1928, and the market is hitting numbers like never before. Stock speculation is skyrocketing. Speculators are interested in short-term market gains following this pattern. Stocks were bought completely, then rented for hope of selling before another one is needed. Since the start of this year, the S&P 500 has increased 10%. On average, for this decade, stock market has increased 20% every year. Stockbrokers are allowing to buy stocks on margin. Investors would pay 20% of the stock down, and brokers would pay for the rest. Doing this, stocks going up allowed the consumers to become millionaires. Last year in November, the recession ended when the Fed decreased the discount rate. I hope you enjoyed this live test. WRGB, closing it out.
Cut!